It's a challenge that many parents of autistic kids grapple with. Yes, it's the dreaded demand avoidance. But fear not, because I've got 20 practical tips to overcome it. Let's go. Welcome. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Orion Kelly, that autistic guy. I'm all about providing validation and support for autistic people and their loved ones. So in general terms, demand avoidance refers to a reluctance or resistance to comply with demands, instructions, or expectations perceived as challenging or overwhelming. Now, this reluctance can manifest in various ways. Procrastination, defiance, even outright refusal to engage in certain activities. It's super important to recognize that demand avoidance isn't actually a deliberate choice, but rather a coping mechanism used by autistic kids to manage stress, anxiety, or sensory overload. You should also keep in mind that demand avoidance, of which I'm talking about and how it can impact autistic people, is distinct and different from a clinical diagnosis of pathological or persistent demand avoidance, or PDA for short. Now, before we get to 20 practical tips to overcome demand avoidance, let's explore some common triggers for demand avoidance in autistic kids, like sudden changes in routine or the environment, sensory overload, loud noises, bright lights, strong smells, social demands. These can be things like group activities. They could even be someone just demanding your autistic child look them in the eye. Unpredictable situations or transitions. Transitioning is always hard for autistic people. But then if you add in an unpredictable, unexpected transition, what do you expect? Another trigger of demand avoidance in autistic kids: feeling overwhelmed by too many tasks or too many instructions. As an autistic adult, I know how hard it is if you ask me to do a thing as opposed to if you ask me to do a series of things or a thing that takes quite a lot of instructions and steps. I'm going to feel that strong sense of demand avoidance. Fear of failure, even criticism, another trigger. Why would I want to do something if I'm certain I'm going to fail at it or you're going to criticize my effort? I wouldn't. Physical discomfort can trigger demand avoidance. This can be anything from clothing tags, the feeling of texture, or even minor injuries. Just the smallest little scrape can really trigger autistic kids. Conversely, their arms hanging off their body and they're like, everything's fine. If they get a tiny piece of apple stuck in their tooth, it's like the end of the world. Emotional stresses like conflicts or transitions also can trigger demand avoidance. A lack of clear expectations and structure, big trigger. I always hear people go, oh, autistic kids, they have no structure. They're like wild, roaming, free-range chickens or something. No discipline, nothing. It's like, that is completely and absolutely incorrect. For starters, what do you think autistic kids love the most? Oh, that's right, sameness, routine, rigidity. Their actual everyday activities. They don't like unexpected things. So yes, they are going to like structure. It just comes down to developing a structure that's right for them and not right for everyone else on the planet. Activities that are perceived as boring or uninteresting can also trigger demand avoidance. A big one for autistic kids, not just social gatherings, but unfamiliar social gatherings with unfamiliar people. Why would you expect any autistic child to ever want to go to a place they've never been before to meet people they've never met before? Another trigger of demand avoidance in autistic kids is a pressure to perform or even just participate in activities. Now, this can sometimes lead into activities they actually like or want to be in, but usually it comes down to a pressure on being a part of or performing in activities they're not familiar with. In other words, activities that are out of their comfort zone. And you seriously got to stop with the expectations on yourself too as a parent. Just because that kid does it doesn't mean your kid needs to. But how about this trigger for demand avoidance in autistic kids? Changes in weather. Changes in weather can lead to sensory sensitivities being overwhelmed. That's right, weather conditions affect an autistic person's sensory sensitivities. All right, stand by. This trigger I absolutely hate being placed on autistic kids, demanding them to verbally communicate. If your autistic child is non-speaking or simply from time to time has a preference for non-speaking communication, don't demand of them just because they were okay to do it yesterday, that they now vocalize their emotions or their communication. If non-speaking's preferred, go with it. Overstimulating environments, another big trigger of demand avoidance in autistic kids. You can make up the examples yourselves, I'm pretty sure. Environments that are overstimulating. So they're going to be noisy, busy, unfamiliar, very much uncontrollable. You don't need to take your autistic kid to the shopping centre or the mall, or whatever you call it, for goodness sakes. But for kids who are students or want to go on to study higher education, this particular trigger is a big one in demand avoidance. Academic demands that ask you to maintain sustained focus, sustained attention, sustained energy for extended periods of time. Another clear trigger is interrupting them during their special interests, during their passions, or their alone time. Why? What are you doing that for? But this trigger can actually lead to a really big dent. Is that the right word? Dent? It's one or the other. You can go with the one that works for you. To their self-esteem, to their mental health. And that is pressuring the autistic child in your life to fit in to societal expectations. Now, this isn't just how they interact, how they talk, but this is how they appear. Forcing your autistic child to dress or look a certain way because that's how they're supposed to look is never going to help your autistic child in the long run. It's about teaching them to embrace what makes them feel confident and comfortable and to thrive. A lack of autonomy can trigger demand avoidance in autistic kids, and a demand has no autonomy. Do this. You've got to do that. Do this now. I told you to do this. Why haven't you done this? Probably because you told them to do it. Autistic kids need to have some sense of control over their own actions, over the activities you're asking them to do. And the final trigger, before I get to 20 practical tips to overcome demand avoidance, is placing autistic kids in competitive or high pressure situations. Why? Well, it's going to lead to them feeling judged, feeling looked down on, criticized. They will fail. They will look bad. They will be compared to others, and in that comparison, they will be classed as wrong, broken, bad. Here we go. 20 practical tips for navigating demand avoidance in autistic kids. Remember, every autistic kid is unique, is different. Not all these strategies will work. It's about finding the strategies that work for your autistic child. Tip number 1, establish a predictable routine and stick to it as much as possible. What does that mean? Set specific times for important things like meals, bedtime, daily activities, and try to maintain that consistency throughout the week. Tip number 2, provide clear and concise instructions. You could also describe this as breaking down tasks and instructions into smaller, more manageable steps. Like we said, if you're asking someone to do something, but it takes many and varied steps, that is going to trigger demand avoidance. So not only should the language be clear, unambiguous, black and white, but it should also be as concise as possible. An example for parents of autistic kids. Instead of saying, clean your room's a pigsty, clean your room. What kid is going to look around their room, which is probably going to be a bit of a mess, and then go, yeah, this looks sustainable. Well, I reckon I can do this. No way. Sometimes when I try to clean up the playroom, I look around and go, there's so many toys that are different toys that have to go in different boxes. So just sorting them will take me longer than it is to put them away, to clean up, my day's gone, it's dinner. So what do you do, Orion? Okay, chill out, man. I'm here to help. Give me a minute to breathe. So instead of saying, clean your room, you could say, could you please pick up your toys? I just want you to pick up the toys on the ground in this room and put them back where they belong. That's it. Just the toys on the ground in your room. Or you could say, I just want you to make your bed. That's all. All right, well, your room's obviously a bit messy, buddy, but all I need you to do is pick up those dirty clothes. All right, I'm going to do some washing today. That's all I need you to do. I understand your room's a pigsty. We'll sort that out. Don't worry. Right now, just pick up the dirty clothes on the floor of your room and put them in the laundry basket, please. So the room's messy. You got toys everywhere, bed's not made, dirty clothes everywhere, right? Clean the room. No. Just pick up the clothes. Put them in the laundry basket. We can get to the other stuff later. There's some examples for you. Are you happy? If you're not, what do you want from me, man? A refund? This is free. But this next practical tip to overcome demand avoidance in autistic kids seems so bloody simple, but still very rarely used. And that is, offer your child choices wherever possible to empower them. Offering your child choices not only empowers them, gives them a sense of control in a world that is completely out of control, destined to do nothing but dysregulate them, virtually, basically just try to kill them. Right? This isn't about control in a bad way. This is about control from someone who is living in a world that does nothing but tries to dysregulate them and bring them down. The choices empower them, provide them a sense of control, but also reduce their feeling of just being overwhelmed all the time. There's so many things to do. A good example of choices could be there are two things that have to get done, yeah? Your autistic child has to do their homework, and two, eat dinner. Sorry, you want a fantasy land, are you? You have an autistic child that does homework and eats dinner? Oh yeah? What are they called? Unicorn? Corn? I don't eat corn. No, I'm on the cob maybe, but tinned, bleh. What's the difference, Orion? There's a difference. Where was I? Oh, that's right. Okay, so would you like to do your homework now or after you've eaten dinner? Or more appropriately, in my instance, hey Conan, would you like to do your homework now or after you've come down, looked at dinner, said, I'm not eating that, and then sat on the couch watching some TV and eating snacks and... Tip number 4, use visual supports. Believe me, these things can work. They might sound a bit boring or extravagant. They don't have to be extravagant. They work. Schedules, timers, charts. Kids can see them, right? They know what's coming up. It's right there. There could be magnets. Eat breakfast. Get dressed. Brush teeth. Play, right? Go to the toilet. Catch the bus. Or timers. Yeah, that's fine. You can keep doing that. I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes. At the end of that 10 minutes, you will need to take a break. Again, you're not saying you must stop. You're saying take a break. These types of things can be more useful than you could ever imagine. Again, it's a control thing, yeah. Autistic kids, I think, sometimes love to know where they stand. In fact, don't we all? Don't we all? Don't we all? I'm sitting, if you wanted to know where I stand. I'm sitting on a stool. Not like a howdy-ho. I mean like a chair with legs. That sounds as creepy. Number 5, create a calm, sensory-friendly environment. You control the environment of your house. We don't control the environment of the world, and that's cool. But your safe place is a really powerful place for your autistic child to thrive in life. So it makes no sense to not control the controllables. Look in the house. Identify sensory triggers. Can they be adapted or controlled or minimized? But what I'm saying is that's a really powerful tool, as am I. Just call myself a powerful tool. I've made it. But practical tip number 6 is going to sound maybe judgy, maybe profound, maybe a little bit overwhelming, but trust me, this is a big one. This is a legit big practical tip to overcome demand avoidance in your autistic child. And that is practicing patience and understanding. You have to acknowledge your child's feelings, acknowledge what your child's experiencing without judgment. Now, this is easier said than done. And we're all going to say, yeah, we do that. Well, I know you don't. I know you don't. Because I don't always. No one does, because we're not perfect. So I'm not going to lie to you. You're not going to lie to me. We're not perfect. The fact is, if we can find that sweet spot, that's where magic happens, my friend. If your child becomes upset, dysregulated, something triggers them, don't judge them. Just validate their feelings. Allow them some validation and support in that moment. Okay, so a loud noise triggered them. To you, it wasn't loud. In fact, you would argue it wasn't loud to anyone. except your autistic child. That wasn't even that loud, buddy. I mean, seriously, mate, I barely made that noise. I'm sorry I made that noise, but it wasn't that loud. But I'm really sorry, but it wasn't that loud. You know, this is what happens. Well, which way are you, mate? Are you sorry and you're supporting them? Or are you still trying to say, what's your deal, man? It wasn't that loud. Do you see what I'm saying? How hard is it to switch and go, you know what, buddy? I understand that was probably a very loud noise for you. So I'm sorry about that. Do you want me to help you find a place to escape for a bit? Or do you need some time on the iPad to go up to your room for a bit? That's it. You just acknowledge. Judgment, no here. Here, no judgment. Tip number 7 is about positive reinforcement. Remember, the self-esteem of autistic kids is devastatingly low. So yes, you do need to reinforce positive behaviors and outcomes and things you know are going to help your autistic child. This isn't about training a puppy. I'm not saying reinforcing positive behaviors that work for you. I'm saying reinforce when the autistic child in your life does something you know is fantastic for their self-esteem and for their ability to enjoy their own quality of life. These are the things you have to celebrate. And I get this is hard when you are stuck in the day-to-day rut of just keeping your autistic child alive. It can be pretty hard to see these situations, let alone want to praise them. Bottom line is, if they complete something they haven't completed before, if they try something new, if they achieve something they're proud of, if they put extra effort into something, you praise that because that is something that is going to help them thrive in life and live a better quality of life than God knows we did. But tip number 8 is super handy, and that is offer alternatives to challenging tasks. So autistic kids are going to have challenges in certain activities and tasks. Let's just say one quick example could be handwriting, right? Writing with a pen or pencil. Okay, if it's feasible, what's the difference? Are they able to type? Are they able to use speech to text? What other things can they use to still express themselves, but not via handwriting? These types of things can open the gates to learning more things and achieving more things just by not putting up so many barriers at the start. Oh, no. We all have to learn to handwrite. We all have to write. Well, what do you mean? Like, what's the goal of this thing? Oh, it's to create a story. So what the hell has handwriting got to do with it? Tip number 9, embrace the use of sensory tools and toys, fidgets, whatever you want to call them. Please allow your child to go through. I know they can be expensive and annoying, but allow your autistic child to experiment, to find their sweet spot. Because trust me, the majority of these things are bloody useless. Probably made up by neurotypical people in a boardroom with no idea what the hell they're talking about. Just let them go through an experiment. They'll find something that works for them and then enable it, encourage it, don't judge it. How about tip number 10? And that is open communication. Yeah, fostering open communication with your autistic child. First question is, do you think your autistic child can come across to people as more open than other kids their age? Chances are you've probably said yes. Now, if you've said no, okay, are there other ways that they express themselves to others in a more open way? Or they simply don't care and they just express themselves or have autistic experiences, shutdowns, meltdown, outbursts in front of anyone, regardless. That's the same thing. Okay, that's open communication. This is me, here I am. But fostering that with an autistic child is super important. So autistic people like open communication. We like bang, black and white, there it is, here's where you stand, this is what I think, this is what I'm saying. So why would it be different with autistic kids? You're basically just developing a relationship where they feel completely open, free, and able and willing to come to you and express their thoughts and feelings. So check in with them regularly and allow them to express those to you in a completely free, judgment-free way. If you get to know on a regular basis the needs and preferences and feelings of your autistic child, you're clearly going to know where they're at, their baseline, when tasks, demands need to be placed upon them. Number 12, use their interests, their passions, and incorporate those into daily activities. This could even be into learning activities. It could even be into, doing chores around the house, tasks around the house. I've said this on so many videos, but whatever your child's passion, special interest is, or are, they're the things you can use as a gateway to other things, right? To learning, to trying new things, to doing new things, incorporating the thing they love or are passionate about into that thing. Number 13 is teach your autistic kids how to look after their own mental health and state through showing them simple activities, simple mindfulness activities. I'm not asking them to go to a yoga class or learn meditation, but you can basically teach your kid how to do deep breathing exercises, how to breathe in and breathe out slowly, how to calm their mind by showing them small and easy ways to practice that kind of self-help, self-soothing exercises. If the autistic child's brain is relaxed, they are going to be more open to the types of demands and tasks placed upon them, and more capable. So these things might sound, maybe you think they sound unrealistic. What's so unrealistic about teaching your autistic child about the power of breathing in deeply and slowly? Tip number 14 is look into the idea of working collaboratively with healthcare professionals. So from our point of view, we work in collaboration with a speech pathologist, with an occupational therapist, tutors, psychologists, different types of people that can provide us with more tools and support to help our autistic child thrive. Again, this comes down to time and money. I'm not here to justify that. I'm here to provide you with strategies and tips, and this is another one. You need help. You can't live this by yourself. So are you utilizing the help of professionals to work with you, to come up with different things to help your child? But tip number 15, it could be one of the trickiest tips, and that is encourage social connections and friendships. There's no question that autistic kids do like having friends, do like feeling accepted and connected and part of something. If people think otherwise, you're wrong. It doesn't mean they like hanging out with people all the time, but we do like the idea of knowing people like us or having friends, having a connection. And we know that connections with others is a key driver in longevity of life, in longevity of health, mental health. So can you encourage the autistic child in your life to build connections and friendships? But what's critical here is it has to be in supportive environments. What does that mean? So, an understanding environment, a supportive environment. So it might be you arrange someone that they think is their friend or is their friend, through their parents, maybe come to your house on the weekend and hang out, or take them to a particular group they want to be a part of or they want to do. Might be a sport or an activity after school. Maybe it's helping them with a particular online group. So finding connections. And you're there to be a parent and monitor it, but you're also there to help them build these connections. Tip number 16 is about teaching self-regulation practices. Now remember, autistic kids, just like autistic adults, are constantly battling to stay regulated. And why is that? Well, because of the challenges we have as being autistic, the world around us seeks to dysregulate us. This can be through experiences socially, sensory sensitivities, the demands placed upon us, the stresses placed upon us, the understanding that our brain is different to neurotypical brains, and therefore we cannot experience the world as intended for neurotypical people. So regulation is a major issue. You have to help your child find the things that work for them. Now again, they could be things like we talked about, mindfulness and breathing and relaxing and those kind of things, absolutely. It could also be helping them discover if they like types of activities, maybe alone time activities or activities with others, or certain things that seem to regulate them and bring them back. So for some kids, it could be jumping on the trampoline, going for a bike ride, playing quietly in their room, watching a movie, being on the iPad, walking to the beach, these types of things, playing with animals. Whatever it is, help them discover and build on these self-regulation techniques. They are critical until the day they die. Tip number 17 is encourage the autistic child in your life to build a sense of independence and autonomy. As autistic people, we can consciously or subconsciously become very reliant on others, on the support of others. And it kind of creeps up on you. It's like, whoa, I didn't realize how reliant I was on the support of my partner or my parents or my friends or my family or whatever. they really do help me. They really do support me through life. And that is critical to have safe people, but it's also critical to encourage the autistic child in your life to build a sense of independence and autonomy. Decision-making is a big cognitive skill they need to strengthen. Okay, how do you do that, Orion? It's simple. Let them choose their own snacks for school, right? Let them choose what they want to wear today. Let them make those decisions. They'll be bad, but they're their decisions. They live by them. They learn by them. In the end, they're not always going to have you, right? So we need to build this from an early age. Tip number 18 is about finding an additional spot, a safe space within the house or your yard, your property, that isn't their bedroom that they can use. What are you talking about, Orion? A retreat, an area to access, to decompress, to get away, for the safety of your autistic child and potentially for the safety of other family members. You can't just rely on the bedroom. How often have you told your autistic child to go to their bedroom for one reason or another and they won't do it? Why? That's demand. That's demand avoidance, guys. Is there a place in your property, in your yard, somewhere in the house? It's a cool little place to chill out and just decompress, just escape. Finding somewhere else, because again, sometimes the autistic child doesn't want to go to their bedroom, won't go to their bedroom, just makes it worse. And then it escalates and escalates. They can just go into the next room, sit in a nice little quiet corner, on the iPad or reading a book or doing something and just feel like they can get away from you, but not to their room, because here's the thing, they don't want to be away from you. They're saying, get away from me, but they don't want to be away from you. They need their safe person. They just need you in an area where they know you're there and you're close to them, but you can still feel like you're alone. I know it's complicated, guys, but you see what I'm saying. It's super important. Tip number 19 is advocate for your child's needs. Advocate for not only their needs, but for potential accommodations that will help them in settings outside of their safe place, their house. So this could be educational settings. It could be even social settings, sporting settings. Yes, that's work. That means openly communicate regularly with teachers, educators, caregivers, support workers, friends, family, sporting groups. Why? So they understand your child's individual needs, and hopefully that means their individual needs will be, to some extent, met. And the final tip, tip number 20, for overcoming demand avoidance in your autistic child is to take care of yourself, to take care of your family. Whether you're a parent or a sibling of an autistic child, life can be a little bit different. It can be interesting, but it can be a little bit different. Some days are good, some days are bad. And you are as important as any other member of the family. And if you are providing these types of demands on an autistic person and you are already completely shot, you could be resentful, just absolutely exhausted, whatever it is, it's never going to work, right? Because they don't want to take the demands. You're not factoring anything in, and you're pretty much so tired, exhausted, or resentful, you're just forcefully demanding these things. This is not going to work for anyone. So yes, sometimes it is important to go, hang on, I need to take a breather here, and to put those things into place, to look after yourself too. Just like they say on the plane, if you're traveling with kids, you put your mask on first. This is no different, guys. If you want to put the mask on your kid and keep them alive, you've got to be alive to do that. It is absolutely a massive challenge for autistic people and their loved ones. So to learn even more about demand avoidance, check out my playlist, Demand Avoidance and Autism.